Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Carolyn and this is Get Your Life. And I keep telling you the only reason I'm here is to help you get your life and live your best life now. Because if you don't do you, you will not be done. So today I have an amazing guest, Dr. Alison Davis, and we are talking all about your mental health, all about staying healthy emotionally, making sure our mind is right, making sure we feel good about who we are. And so please welcome my very special guest, Dr. Alison Davis.
Hello, and thank you so much. I am so honored as well as pleased to be here to share this space and to offer whatever I can that will actually help us get our life.
Yes.
I take the why and it's it's all of us.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And so just before I get into what is mental health and what does it mean, I like to let my guests tell the audience all about how did you get into the mental health arena? Like, what is it about you that wants to get into the mind and emotions of people?
Really good question. And for me, it has been somewhat of a journey because this is like a second and third career. I retired from the United States Postal Service as a letter carrier for over 20 plus years.
Wow.
But along that path, just always been that one that was curious to the whys of behavior.
Right.
Like why? Why are you responding that way? Or why are you shutting down? On top of, I was fortunate enough to have a much older brother that's a psychologist. So I think that may have planted a seed, although I didn't make the connection, but it allowed me to know that this discipline was available. And the other part of it, also having a mom who had some higher ed. And I always thought that each generation should do whatever, just a little bit better. Just,
I think that
stand on their shoulders and continue to elevate. But on top of that, it's just really been an interest on a very personal level. And I also thought that to go into this field somewhat matured out of most disciplines would be to my advantage.
Right.
Because anyone would probably feel safe because I have life skills.
Yes.
As well as now the education to bring it together.
Right.
And so I thought that unique combination, if I was applying for a job and someone else was applying for the job at the same time, that was just right out of college, that I, for one time, being a more matured person, might be somewhat advantaged.
Right. Get that experience.
Right. Get that experience.
I just want my audience to know when I was in college, I too thought I would be in the mental health arena. But as you can see, I talk more than I'm listening. So I also love what you said, because sometimes we feel like we have to stay on a certain plane or a certain journey or the expectation to have a certain career. So I do like the fact that this is like a third career. I too have had seasons of careers, where I change, and I want people to know that's okay. It's okay.
It's welcomed.
It is welcome. And whatever internal gifts that you have worked for all of those things, so I love it. So now tell us, what is mental wellness, mental health and wellness?
So I'm so happy that you actually asked that, because I'm in the final stage of a trademark. And the trademark that I have coined is mental health is an everyday, in every way response to life. Because I really want to normalize it, because the stigmas make us feel like something has to be wrong or something has to be very crisis oriented. But it's just like your diet is the food that you eat.
Yes.
Your mental health is every day. How you dress, how you wear your hair, how you respond, how your sleep hygiene. There's nothing that's absent of your mental health. It's how you respond to situations. And that also allows you to see your own navigation system is your emotions. So when I think of mental health, I think there's never a time that we're not in the throes of mental health, from in the womb to the last breath.
I like
your
that.
mental health is always there.
It is.
because it's every experience. And even some in the womb, are in a tainted womb. So when you come out, your mental health has already been impacted.
Yes.
And so I could just go on about that.
I never thought about that. When I was pregnant, I have one son, when I was pregnant with my son, I really leaned into that. So I read to him. I talked to him. Even when he was jumping around and doing stuff, I would be like, mommy's doing something. Can you calm down?
Yeah.
Or if he was asleep, if he wasn't moving, I would be like, okay, what are you doing now?
Yes.
Wake up. I would poke him and stuff. And you just brought that whole mental health starts in the womb full circle for me. Haven't thought about it in a long time, but you're absolutely right that it starts from birth. It starts from day one. And sometimes even when we look at some of the issues we have, they started in the womb. They started from like day one.
Yeah, they do.
So I just we were talking before we got on camera, we were talking about just mental health and anxiety and some of the issues that we're facing now in our society. So I did a little research, and I think this was 24, so it could be higher. And it said 43 million people are diagnosed yearly with anxiety disorders, with women being the most prevalent. 1 in 5 adults or 61 million people experience mental health issues on a spectrum. So 43 million anxiety, 61 million with whatever mental issue they have. Can you just tell me why we have so many mental issues? Is it because we always had them and we just weren't keeping record? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And it is one that we're now beginning to really look at it a lot more seriously, because in the perfection of our body by our Creator, the body lets you know when something is going on.
Right.
And so now as we continue to evolve and we have more information, we are more aware.
Okay.
As well as, so the body is the alarm system. It's letting you know something's going on. I don't feel comfortable. I feel it in my body, wherever it may show up in your body. I feel it in my thoughts, which also will lead it to the body. And so in that, you have more people really on top of just all the other things that are going on, places where we once felt safe, no longer feel safe.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure to perform, to show up, to not be comfortable in the skin that we're in. It doesn't matter the hue of the skin.
Right.
There's a lot of people not comfortable in their skin.
I agree.
Because we now have to show up not in our most authentic selves.
Right.
I have to show up how you expect me to show up.
Yes.
I have to meet criteria. I have to be assessed by a world that's looking at me what feels like the lens of judgment.
Right.
And so that makes me almost feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And now, as family dynamics, again, continue to evolve with the working, the workload, the hours, a lot of that nurturing, even though we thought it was old school for, the community, the village, and other people to be able to be there to help in that raising. We don't have that.
You're right.
A lot of throwback foundations that really kind of anchored us. They're not there. And even though, yes, those time had its own challenges, but there was still universal, do this, do that, don't do this. And it wasn't the same pressure.
Right.
We were even talking about even in Miami, where the high schools were Palmetto, Killian. And so most of us at a certain era, we knew generations of cousins, because everybody was together
at those times.
Right. So the messages and everything was just the same.
Right.
Now you're no longer if you were going to call it competing with your neighbor or the one in the next, it's universal. It's global.
It is.
And so that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on parents, moms, dads, children, adolescents, toddlers.
Even the babies.
Even the babies. They now have 0 to 5 for mental health.
They do.
I've seen a 2-year-old.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, because it is pressure. And I would even venture to say, like you said, in the skin that we in, we think that it's just us. It is not. And I would just say for myself, I remember when I was younger, we couldn't have locks.
Yeah.
You could not wear braids. You could not have cornrows. You couldn't, certain makeup and lipstick colors you could not wear. You could not wear hats. You could not wear pants. And so there was pressure, but like you said, there was also a foundation. I remember growing up in the neighborhood, if a parent wasn't home, everybody went to the house that had to stay at home mom, or you always got a good meal. And I remember, like, if your neighbor saw you doing something, you would get it from them, and then you would get it at home. And we all had that baseline foundation. I don't care who it was. We knew that somebody cared about us.
You did.
You're right. I see a lot more isolation, especially with like social media. And I feel more pressure, even as a mom, to measure up. You know, you don't bake so-and-so. No, I'm not bringing baked cupcakes. I'm going to the grocery store because I'm working. But even we do it to ourselves. We put pressure on each other. Like, you're not rising to the standard. Well, if you're at home and you're a good baker, then bake. If I'm out and I'm doing a show and I'm talking or I'm teaching, then that is what I do. And I think we need to be okay with that.
And you brought up another good point, the idea that I need to be validated by you, or I need to give you a response. And see, we get defensive, not in a negative way, but I almost need to explain why I'm not bringing the cupcakes to almost feel adequate. Because if I just looked at you like...
It'd be like, what is wrong with her? She's not responding.
You're not a team player. Or, you're resistant.
Or you're defensive. Or, it's something negative, but I do feel the pressure. And even if it's not the people at the school or wherever putting the pressure, just in social media, like, if you don't have this kind of workout gear, then you're inadequate. You're not ready. You're not up to par. And so I feel like the yardstick always moves.
It does.
As soon as you get to it, it's moved.
Social media could really do a number to you mentally, because when you see the level of creativity and just the things that, you're like, that's really outside of my scope of my body, what I'm capable of doing, like creativity, COVID and post-COVID just went off the chain. And we're grateful for that. But if you're looking at it at like the point that you made and trying to measure yourself, even GPAs, what once was like 3.5, 4.0, that's almost like standard now for those that are higher level entry. 5.0, 6.0.
Never heard of it.
I even asked students that are in dual enrollment and, early on, and obviously it's a really good plan, but can you see even there, to start it early, and not to say that that's not a great thing. It's excellent. You're getting the advantage. You're, merging in. And so you're getting the college experience, but there's still a pressure.
It is a pressure.
Like to be a part of that.
And it's not for everybody.
And it's not for everybody.
One thing about me as a mom, people always ask me, what is your son going to do? What is he going to... This is my thing. I love education. I love going to school. That is my thing. That is not his thing. And I'm not saying it will never be his thing, but I have to allow him to be who he is. And I keep telling him, I put no pressure on you. I want you to enjoy whatever it is you do. And I also have to tell people, don't put that pressure on him. Just because this is my journey, it doesn't mean it's going to happen to him. Now, I will say there are adults that I have had to counsel because of that. I'll give you an example. The pastor is the pastor because the granddad was a pastor, daddy was a pastor, uncle was a pastor. And then you look and it's like, you're okay, you can preach, but you're not a pastor is different. The pastor is really caring for the people. You don't just preach and then run home. It's a different skill set. It's a different calling. And so I've even had friends who went into law because that was the expectation.
Of course.
But they wanted to bake or they wanted to dance or whatever. And then they end up on your couch because they never got to fulfill their purpose. Do you see a lot of that?
I do. And thank you for mentioning that, because you do. And I'll ask, students sometimes, like, are you here by default? Are you here because it's part of someone else's vision? Not to say that we don't need to push and urge them and try to direct and guide. That is so.
Right.
But there are certain careers that students almost instantly know, if I say I'm going to do this, you're going to go like, oh my God, yay, the top 5 careers. Like, oh my God. And then they get to share, oh yeah, he wants to be a this, that, or the other.
Yep.
And if they want the science, the softer, like even psychology, people will tell them, you're not going to make any money.
Right.
And I always tell them there's a spectrum.
There is.
No matter what you do.
There is.
Who thought the DJ would be a millionaire DJ?
Right.
Who thinks the hairstylist is going to, the one who does nails is going to do Cynthia Erivo's nails?
Okay.
That part, and that's the part of that we're not developing.
Right.
The personality, the character. I was like, you can be law enforcement, but you can also be, guarding the president or whoever. Like,
there's a difference. Like
it's the whole frame.
It's a spectrum.
Your GPA, it does open doors. Your personality and the other attributes is what elevate you.
Yes.
And so I will ask, parents or well-meaning parents, when they are very proud, rightfully so, of all the accolades. Like, is she happy?
That part.
Is she enjoying it?
That part.
Because
you can't get that back.
Yeah, let's always ask them, like, and many of them are. They really do enjoy it, even though there are parts of it that are challenging. But always check in.
Yes.
Like, are you enjoying that?
And I think you have to have the other thing. Like, I will say that school we talked about where they were pressuring the kids. The social skills were lacking. Like, you still need to know how to conduct yourself. You still need to know how to play well with others. So sometimes we go so far left with the academics and the GPA that we forget our emotions. We forget that the friendships matter. We forget that going outside to play and laugh. Like, you should not be that serious at 5.
No.
What is going on at 5 that you have to be that serious?
You actually see that deficit. You see it in the classroom where, students don't want to share because this whole idea of all I need is to do my grades. Like, I don't need to socialize. And we're trying to really build that skill. Like, you need to be comfortable with being assertive, with asking for what you want. You talk about boundaries. When you talk about mental health, a lot of mental health is about boundaries. Are you able to set a boundary?
Yes.
And it is difficult for most people to set boundaries because we get feedback from other people.
Yes.
Like, if you're a person that, like, at 5 o'clock, I'm leaving. Yeah, like, she always leave at 5.
At 5. She's not a team player. She doesn't.
But that's a boundary. Or if you have an instructor that says, okay, if you turn your assignment in late, you don't get
a grade.
Additional time.
Right.
That's a boundary.
Right.
But we see it as a person that's like mean character.
Yeah, she's
And a lot of times, like, if you tell someone, no, I don't really want to go to that event or whatever because my schedule's really busy, that's a boundary. But we mistake boundaries as rejection. I'm not rejecting you. I'm loving me. I'm setting a boundary for myself. Like, I know my schedule. I know, is this a good investment of my time?
Of my time, yes.
But we have difficulty, and we don't always teach boundaries to kids. Like, no, go do this and do that. Force them to do things that they don't want to do.
They're tired. They're sleepy. They need to rest. I need to go play. And I think because we were not allowed to have boundaries. Like, if some adult says something to you, you can't speak back. No. You can't say no. And then that is when you get into situations where somebody touch you and you don't want them to touch you. So we have to teach that it's okay. Yes. And even like some people that they may not have gotten to this yet, not mature enough. But normally when you can tell as you get more mature, this person is not for me. They don't want the best for me. And so at that point, it's like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not saying you're a bad person, but that's just not someone I want to sit in my company. That doesn't mean you a bad person. It just means for me,
No.
that is crossing a boundary. And I say self-care is not selfish.
It's not.
And they'll say, you're selfish, you're mean, or why didn't you want this, or why didn't you want that? Because for me, that would be like me giving of myself when I know my heart is saying no.
No. That's so important. Everything that you said, really, like ditto, ditto, ditto.
Yeah.
As it just relates to, again, letting kids, even early on, or anyone, like, what's the energy of that person?
Yes.
It's not always the words. Like, when you are in their presence, how are you feeling?
You're
right. Are you feeling like I need to really edit what I say? Or, like that, those are your early signs.
Right.
How are you feeling? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel safe? Even to teach kids that.
Yeah.
Because I often say, like, a lot of times, this whole say no to strangers and all that, it's not always a stranger that we need to let them be aware of. It's the energy of the person, the appropriateness. And because most people come across as friendly.
Right.
If you were moving on to violating, whether they're violating you orally or violating you in other ways, it's usually a person that they've gained some trust from you.
Right.
So we really have to teach them, trust your feelings.
Right.
Does that feel safe to go over there or to do this? Like early on.
Yep.
It's not just to say no to
to strangers, because like you said, it could be an uncle,
a very
or
trusting,
auntie, or
very
a
trusting
friend.
person, someone that you're under their care, that you naturally trust. And so you're going to trust them. So I think the point that you made, even as adults, like, you know what? Did I enjoy that conversation?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, there are times that we have to compromise and we have to be in spaces that may not feel, but not all the time. Like, no, I have to be selective. And the other point that you made about self-ish, one of the key character developments starts with self.
Yes.
Self-discipline.
Yes.
The self is always first.
Yes.
And it's not in an arrogant way.
Right.
It's in a way that's going to honor how the Creator created me.
Yes.
If there's any higher self, it would be the creative. Obviously, we're going to honor our parents and all of that.
Right.
But when it comes to self, self.
And I tell people, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I tell people, if God created all of us, right? If God created us, right? And God loves his creation, he loves you just as much as he loves me.
Right.
So that doesn't mean, she get 5 points and I get 2. No, he loves us all the same. So as we esteem people, and I see a lot of that, like some people think, they have to have the best seat. They're in VIP. We do that. And we set certain people aside. We've created that. Like, they're better than that, especially with celebrities and stuff.
Everybody.
They have to have the best table and the best food and things like that. And I've even seen people that do that with their kids, the ones that they like more than the other ones. And so I feel like you said, we have to start with self. You are just as important. You are just as loved. You are just as worthy. And I think we got to tell people more of that too.
Yeah, it's not an earning, it's the fact that you were born. It's a given.
Right.
It is the gift of life. And you're right. I see it, anytime a special guest comes to your campus or, the mulch gets put out and all the trimming gets done. And I'll actually say it to students, like, and it's created this in our own minds, a social learning that we esteem people based on what they do or what accolades they have. And I say, you have people that clean every day. And do you say hello to them?
Yeah.
They are more. I'm like, if you ever go somewhere and you're new in that facility, talk to the people that are doing the work.
Right.
They're the observers. They're the ones that could help you. They're the ones. Like, you're looking to hang out with this person, and not to say that other people don't offer just because they're in a position, but don't esteem them because of their position. Esteem them because they welcome you, because they're open to you. And that is a deal breaker to me. Like, because we look at, celebrities, this, that, or people that we've given the identity as pretty and all of those other ways that we give value to people.
Yes, we do.
And that's not part of the creation.
It's not. It's almost like you're on a ranking system.
Yeah.
This one is a 10. Remember, we used to get, this one is a 10.
Yeah.
They had their body as a 10. And then this one is a 4 or 5. And no, it's like everybody has value. And that is what Get Your Life is all about. Your life is valuable. So use it as a gift. Tomorrow isn't promised. And so how do we start chipping away all of these things that we put to stop us from just being ourselves? And that takes an emotional toll. Like it does make you anxious. If you don't feel good about who you are, you probably couldn't walk into the room and do what you do.
No, it is. It's a relearning almost, we delete a lot of messages. And a lot of times it's difficult to do that, especially when your own internal critic.
Yes.
It's almost like you're fighting yourself.
Yes.
And we refer to like the ants. The ants are the automatic negative thoughts. They often come out. The good enough isms and pretty enough isms and
skinny enough.
Do I belong here?
Yes.
And all those things. So the awareness, I always say awareness before action. You have to at least acknowledge it. Because if you're not aware, you can't change. You can't change anything without awareness. And it starts with A. So, aware of how you're feeling. Your feelings are your emotional navigation system. Your feelings let you know at any given time exactly where you are. So if I'm feeling anxious now, what do I need to do?
Right.
Because I can recognize my feeling. That's my navigation. So what do I need to do? Do I need to breathe? Do I need to change my seating? Do I need to think of a good song? Do I need to close my eye for a moment?
That.
You have to. It's awareness. And then you decide, what emotion are you feeling?
Right.
Angry. Anger is a necessary emotion.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes, it is. And even the one, fear, the fight or flight, that will save your life.
It is.
Sometimes you come into the presence of people and it's like, you just sense danger. Like, this person doesn't mean good for me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to excuse myself and then I'm going to move away.
Yes.
And it's not that I don't know you or whatever, but something in my spirit, it just doesn't sit well with me. And that is okay. We have to be okay with being okay. Like what doesn't feel good for you might feel good for me. That doesn't mean you're a bad person.
No.
That doesn't mean I don't talk about you or tear you down.
We say that's true for you.
For you.
And that's true for you. And that's why most people get into arguments, because our perceptions are always subjective to our own experiences.
Yes.
So your true and my true, it's okay that they're different. But I did want to just, with anger, and a lot of times people will almost make you feel some type of guilt and shame. Mm-hmm. And obviously the way you express it may factor. But anger is a necessary emotion.
Yes, it is.
And it can often take you up the emotional scale. Because many people would prefer that you stay quiet because that's what makes them feel safe.
Yes.
And I'm not saying stay in anger, but if you need to express what you need to say, don't always feel guilty about it. Maybe how you say it, you might want to edit it some, but to think that all our emotions are necessary.
They are necessary.
All of them.
Yes.
Tears.
Everything. And I tell people, stop. Like, sometimes we are conditioned to don't cry.
Yeah.
No, crying is cleansing.
Yeah.
Crying is healthy and it's necessary. And I would even say for myself, sometimes when I always say God gave me the gift of speaking and not being afraid to speak and say stuff. But people will always come to me after, I'm so glad you said that, because I was feeling that the whole time. And then they suffer in silence.
They suffer. That's a big one.
Oh.
That's a big one. And to your point about the tears, doing like a therapy session, we don't pass out, or we shouldn't, air quote, like Kleenex or something.
Right.
Because that's almost a sign of stop.
Yes.
And most people want you to stop because it makes them feel comfortable.
Yes.
And that's always, and even though it's well-meaning, you got makeup, I don't want it to run. It's a social learning.
Yes.
But behind it is, it's making me feel
it makes me feel
because I don't know what to do,
exactly.
And I don't want to see you sad. It has good meanings.
Yes.
But no, allow it.
And we have to teach. Like, one of the things I as a chaplain, I help counsel the grieving and the bereaved. And one thing I always hear is that people don't know what to say. Like they say things that injure them more. Like, at least she's in a better place. Well, that doesn't make me feel good. So sometimes we have to teach, like, what should we say or what we don't know because we feel uncomfortable. Like you said, it makes us uncomfortable. We see a widow that lost her husband during COVID. Like, what do you say? What should we do? Should we come up with a list?
I heard someone not too long ago said that they were asked, like, do you want me to listen or do you want me to distract you?
That's good. That's good.
Do you want to go out? Like, or do you want me to just ask them, but give them options?
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I told you this little bit of time is going to go so fast, but I want you to give like just some general tips. Like I heard you say breathe. I heard you say stop. I heard you say close your eyes. Are there others that we can do when we are feeling overwhelmed or anxious?
And I heard what you said to add to what I said, that it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
That your emotions are yours. Whatever it is about us didn't start with us.
Right.
We're all a byproduct of generational trauma. But to your point, recognizing through your body, where are you feeling it? Is there something you can do? Is there something that you can do that's small, at least to get you through this moment? Like change my seat, go take a walk, whatever the case may be. But aware, and then whatever action you need to take. Do you need to write something down? I know people say journaling and some of the things sound kind of like cliche.
But
you don't. Yeah, you can write a word.
You
angry.
Yeah.
Annoyed.
Sad, frustrated.
Or whatever it is, it is. But, as far as your own mental health or your own well-being, going back to it is an everyday, in every way, it's how you respond to it. A lot of times, some people eat, again, anything that you do, it could be healthy and it can be unhealthy. And so it is, I always say even food is our first drug of choice because it gives us comfort.
It is, and it's acceptable.
And it's acceptable.
It's acceptable. Everybody has to eat and everybody likes to eat. So I would just, tell anybody that is feeling out of sorts or feeling mentally, emotionally, spiritually unwell, it's okay to get help. Because if you broke your arm, you would not sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to just wait till it comes back together. No, you would go to the doctors, you would get help. And so let our audience know how they can find you.
Oh, thank you so much. I can be reached at Sunshine Minds, Sunshine, SUNSHYNE.
Oh, okay.
Minds, MYNDS.com. So it's Sunshine Minds is one. And also have a site at dralisonkdavis.com. But those are ways. But definitely reach out.
Yes. If you need help, reach out.
Reach out. And a lot of times we think friends are good. But friends are not professional.
They're not. Sometimes you need a professional to help you. So I just want to thank Dr. Alison again. And I know I'm going to have you back because we didn't even touch on some of the things we need to. So again, I'm your host, Dr. Carolyn Edwards. This is Get Your Life. Please go get your health, your wellness, your mental, your mind. Get it together and go out there and live your best life today. Until next time.
I know it gets hard to find the light sometimes. It feels easier to hold on to what's been keeping you down. You were made to fly, so now release, let it go. You were made to soar, so just breathe. Feel your power. Learn to dance in the rain or the shine.